Hello YouTube. So this was a bit of a walkthrough on a remix I did recently of the Stranger Things theme tune. Yes, I know it's been done a million times, but I thought I'll do one as well. Why not? I apologise if the sorry if the microphone audio is a bit crappy on this one. I'm having some microphone issues, so I'm having to record the audio on my phone and then patch it all together. So what I thought I'd do with this one is I'll just kind of talk through how I approach the remix. Go through all the bits of the track. This is the project you can see here. What I will then do, if you are one of my Patreon subscribers, I will upload the Ableton Live project file with all the samples and everything in there, so you can kind of remix if you want, do your own version and so on. I think most of the plugins I've used Hybrid 3, which is not a free one. But I'll kind of quickly go through the settings on there. So obviously, if you've not got those plugins, that's not going to work on your system. But I did also use the Tel Electro, which is a free synth, great little synth for free, and I'll include that within the pack as well. So you've got that. A lot of it's actually audio samples, so all of those will work. I think it's just most of these bass pads and so on that you're not going to work. Right. So I kind of had to listen to the original. Found out that the speed, the BPM, was 84 beats per minute. So I thought, right, double time that, 168 beats per minute, perfect for a bit of a drum and bass vibe. So kind of 160, 170 beats per minute, great drum and bass tempo. So what I thought I'd do, my approach to it was, I would start off with pretty much the original theme. I recreated that, and then I go into like the drum and bass remix. I'll play sections of it as I go through, and then I'll let the whole thing play through right at the end so you can hear the full remix. So start off just with the kind of like a recreation of the original bit of the theme. Okay. So let's just go through the recreation of those bits. We start off with the fast up and down arp, which is this bit here. Okay. So that is basically, it's the same notes as the main arp, which is this one here. If I just solo that. Okay. Obviously the classic bit of the theme tune. So if you just look at notes wise, what we've got on here, we're basically going from C up to C. So I'm starting off on C6, so we're going C, E, G, B, and then C, and then basically back down again. So it's just this kind of up and down arpeggiated note thing, and I believe that's 30-second notes. So it's one bar of 30-second notes. Let's just play that through again. Okay, so it's just going up and down like that. So if you set your grid to 30-second notes, you can see that's going up and down on those notes. And then going along with that, we've got this whatever this is. Okay, so I wanted some sort of reversing build-up sort of sound, which I think is a Vengeance sample. A lot of these are Vengeance samples, and that was in E minor. I'm not entirely sure why, but it seemed to fit with it. And then we've got this pad at the beginning as well. Okay, just building up. So that is on the Tel Electro. So this is the Tel, if you've not seen it before. Great little synth for free. So this will all work if you do want to download my project files. But basically we've got a fairly simple sound, just a couple of sawtooths and so on. But obviously you can get that. And then notes wise on this bit, we've got quite a lot. I think the track originally is in E, or I think that's why that upriser thing was in E minor. So we're in E. So we've basically got a couple of chords. We've got E, G and B, and then E, G and B. So we've kind of just got a couple of octaves for those chords. And then what I did on here is that just the volume coming up, just automated the volume. Okay, coming up there. So that is the first bit. Okay, it sounds pretty cool. I think that's it. It's just those first three bits in there. So then we get into like the main body of it. So the arpeggiator thing is basically the same notes as we had on the intro, but half the speed. So we're at 16th notes now. So same as before, C, E, G, B, C, and it's basically just going up and down like that. So for the ARP, I also used the TEL. So again, you'll get that for free if you download the pack from my Patreon. Again, a fairly simple sort of patch, a couple of saw waves, and all I've basically done is automate it. You can see here the cutoff. I'm just opening up the filter and closing it. Okay, so nothing particularly magic going off in there. So if you're not going to download the thing, I'll just leave that. You can pause your screen and just copy those settings on there. I'm not going to go through every setting because we'll be here for hours otherwise. But basically just the automation is the cutoff. And then I stuck the auto pan on there just to give it a little bit of movement from side to side. That is my EQ setting. Again, obviously, if you've got Ableton Live 9, you'll have all these, or 10 indeed. I'm still on 9, I'm old school. But just sort of rolled off the bottom end on that for the EQ settings. Then we've got the main bass parts. Let's go from the top actually. We'll work our way down. So we've just got the heartbeat kick drum thing, which is just the standard 808 kit that comes within Live. Okay, the 808 Classic. Not done a lot with that. Put a little bit of reverb on it. Straightforward enough. We've then got, what's the next pad there? Oh, we've done that pad, that's the first bit. This bit here is the do-do-do. Which I try to, oh no, that's in the TEL as well. Oh, I tell a lie, I was thinking I did that in another one. So again, I'll just leave that up on screen for a second. You can copy those settings. Again, there's nothing majorly, massively exciting going off with these. It's all sawtooth and stuff. So there are your settings for that, if you wish to pause the screen and copy that. So that kind of appears throughout the song a few times. What we've got here. Okay, so we've got another little pad sound building up, which again is also in the TEL, which is that sound. So slightly different here, we've got a saw on oscillator 1 and a sine on oscillator 2. So kind of in the context of the track. Yeah, that coming up there. Okay. Then we've got the bass pad. Now I think all of these three are, let's just say this are, so these are on the hybrid. Notes wise, let's just play it through. So you see we've got C, E, C, let's just scroll along here, and D. Going down, back to C, and then we come up and then down to B at the end. Okay, so in terms of sort of the sound on that, it's kind of like the hybrid's a little bit more of a complicated synth. So I cheated. I used a preset. I ain't going to apologise. Obviously, it fitted what I want. But it's got like these sawtooth multi-wave sort of triangle thing in it. So yeah, it's just trying to find a bass sound that sounds like that, really. Like I say, not a lot I can do about trying to recreate that too much for now. Further along, we've got this high pad. Again, this is on the hybrid. That's actually part of the remix bit, so we don't need to do that bit because that's right at the end. We'll look at the beginning bit. Right, one more bit on the first bit, the main kind of bass. So this is again a preset called Mountain Mover off the hybrid. So I think there's only these two and a pad at the end. So it's just trying to, so again, this is like a sawtooth and the multi-wave thing. Okay, but there are ways of recreating that in the TEL fairly easily. It's just a big bass sort of sound. So you can see we get these bass pads, kind of long notes, and then loop. There's a couple of bits I missed off here, or just this one. This is the towel also, which is actually I used a preset on the towel, which is the synth choir. That's the settings for that, but it is the synth choir pad sound, that one. So you can go straight to that with the preset, and that is this sound, kind of like the swooshy kind of sound, which is going to be making some use of the filter envelope, if I remember rightly. Yes. So that's kind of recreating the original theme. If you want to recreate the original theme, it is all there and done for you. You're welcome. Right, so what I basically wanted to do was go from the main theme and then sort of lead it into the remix. So this is kind of like the ending of the main theme, and then we start off with some loops and stuff. So we go into this percussion loop. So starting off on that bit, we've got a percussion loop there. We've got some reverse cymbal nonsense going off here. Okay, and then we went for the classic cheesy uplifter snare thing. So these are just all audio loops, which will all be in the pack if you do wish to download it. And then I went for, just so you can see how I kind of build everything up, a little kind of tonal uplifter thing there, and a white noise. So if we put all that together, we get this. It's nice big cheesy build up. I've got even another uplifter there. Okay, so this bit we didn't have a look at. We've got a little uplifter going there. Okay, so I did this pretty quick, so it looks like I've not really EQ'd much of this stuff. These loops and the audio files, I haven't. Oh, naughty me, but it sounds all right. Got a little gap there, so I like a kind of a big build-up and then a break. So it's still got that solo. And then we go into the main bit of the remix. So this is where I wanted to sort of bring back in elements of the original. So what I basically did was copied across sections of the bass pad from the intro bit, the main bass. So we've got those in there. And then I ended up with a bit of old school dubstep kind of sounds there. These are off the hybrid also. So just to give it a bit more low end. So if we just kind of solo all of those together. Okay, and we're keeping the do kind of theme from the original bit, so we're bringing the that back in there as well in the gaps. Okay, and then really I was quite lazy on this one, if I'm being honest. With a lot of loops, I just thought I'd go through my library of loops and we'll find some drum and bass nonsense. So there's your shaker loop. Where's the main drums? Main drums are here, which is just a, oh no it's not. So we've got a couple of different loops. Excuse me. Sneeze again. I haven't got coronavirus. That's not a symptom. So I've just panned those kind of bit to the left, bit to the right. Where are my main drums? Somewhere. But you can see how lazy I've been. I've not even labelled my tracks. This is terrible. This is a good example of how not to do a project. Okay, so we had a basic kind of drum and bass loop there, and we've got like a top loop over the top, little hi-hat thing. So if we start to layer all these together, we start to get the main drum beat. Just Go back a bit. We've got even more drums down here. Okay, a little bit more going on with that one. Okay, so then we get this bit, we're going to have a little break where we stick the do-do-do, then back in. So what we've got here, we've got these little melodic things going off. Again, I just found these little bell stab things, which kind of just work really well because they're in the right key for the song. And I used those in this breakdown bit in the middle. So if we go to that section, so it's nice, like little gentle breakdown bit. And we just keep one of those going. And now we kind of just introduce some more elements back in over here. So bring the bass back in, some of the drum loops. Cheesy snare fill coming up again. More uplifters, try some stuff down here. Okay, and then we go back into the main part of it again. What I did with the ARP here was, I did the old classic kind of doubling it up and then halving it again. So we go from the main ARP here, and then just took going up, and then half of that, and then just the first note. Okay, and then back in there, just to kind of help with that build-up, classic kind of build-up. Okay, which worked really nicely, in my humble opinion. And then ready for the last bit, I wanted it to go a bit bigger and a bit more epic. So that's where I brought these extra pads in at the end, which is this one here, which I think is not that one. These are the ones I have labelled, high pad 1, or just both high pads. And again, this is going to be a preset off the hybrid, but again, any kind of pad sort of sound would work. And I kind of wanted this to sort of go almost against the flow of the music. So if you hear it, it gives it a real epic kind of feel at the end. I'm a big believer in just bringing some nice pads in towards the end of the thing. So just add another level. And then we're going to have a break here, and then we bring the melodic parts back in, and a little bit more of the shaking part here. Go for that bit. See what's coming in. So bringing more stuff in now. And then I've taken those pads up another octave, which is again quite a big thing I will often do. So I kept the original ones in, and then I layered another octave over the top. So you can see just doubling up those notes just to give it even more epicness at the end, which kind of works quite well. And then ended up with what I call my my pendulum ending, which is kind of like going for the old pendulum fill. Which is this. Now obviously I wanted to keep the same drum sound, so what I did for this is just edited the notes from this. I just took the snare and the bass and converted it, chopped it up in the clip, and then got into that. And then we finish off with a nice big fat dubsteppy bass kind of thing. Okay, and that is basically how I approached the remix and put it all together. So hopefully that's kind of some interest to you. I'm going to make this one available to the either the $1 Patreon subscribers or the $3.50 subscribers, so it's available for everybody. So there's a lot of stuff there, even if you don't want to use the remix and you want some of those the the stems and whatever. You know, $1 a month to pay is not a lot, and it supports me and it helps keep the channel going. So there we go. What I will do is I will sign out with, I will let the whole thing play all the way through. I'll kind of go in and out a bit so you can see sort of what's happening. I won't talk over any of this. Usual things. If you like it, please like it. If you don't like it, go away. You're wrong. And yeah, like, subscribe, share it around, usual sort of stuff. Stay tuned to the channel for more stuff coming up, obviously, throughout the year. And yeah, if you want to support me, then go over to my Patreon page and sign up for that. There are 2 tiers. You've got a $1 a month or a $3.50 a month. Either are ridiculously cheap. And for that, as well as having a nice, warm, glowy feeling inside that you've helped support me and keep the channel going, you'll get some free stuff, which will be things like this, Ableton Live projects and sound packs and all sorts. So I'll shut up talking, I'll let the track play through, and I'll see you in whatever video I do next. Cheers.